Good morning, everyone. So I think we can start with the last day of software carpentry. Today we will learn a little bit more about Git. Let me share the course website. I'm also will share window. So this is the course website. Also to let you know that each session has been uploaded to so it's already available here. Also here is the feedback form that later we will give you some time to complete the form. And yeah, course materials are here. If we scroll down, this is the schedule of today. So they said, yeah, we will have like an hour and a half of Git morning break, and after the break we will give you some minutes to complete the feedback, and then we will continue with the Git. Okay, so this is the lesson. I will copy the link here, and this is the lesson that I will follow. We will for this lesson we will use Git bash, and also we will use the web GitHub. So in case that you don't have an account, we will also give you some time to create the account. But yeah, we will combine the command line and also the web browser. Knowing the commands for Git and the command line is useful in case that we have access to a remote machine and it's only yeah, we don't have a graphical interface. That would be good. Also, we will learn how to use a GitHub and yeah, the setup in case that is needed. We'll make this a little bit maybe bigger. Okay, well, motivation about version control. Version control is useful when you work as a team developing a code, because you can work in different parts of the on the code, and in case that for some reason there is let's say two members of the team modify the same line of code, Git provides a mechanism to handle conflicts. That also we will see that later. In case that for some, yeah, you're not working on a team and you're working on your own, it's also useful to keep track of the changes that you have done in the code. And if for some reason the testing failed, you can always check the latest changes and see what have changed. So here setup is easy. We just well, we can move to the yeah, change directory to desktop, and that's it. And if we go to episodes, yeah, this will be the first one. I guess that you may be familiar with that. We'll make this a bit bigger. With that situation, that you have a document in Word, a doc file, and you have the version, the final version, and then there is like some comments, You get a final revision 2, then you get a final revision 6 comments, final revision 8 comments, 5 corrections. So at least here, okay, you are giving numbers. Okay, with the numbers, you know what is the latest version or not, but it's complicated. It happened to me writing a paper that was, don't know, name of say paper dot text, and there was paper comments, paper and the name of one author, paper the name of the other author, and well, you can check the timestamps and see what is the latest file and use the latest one. But for instance, if you do a backup and for some reason the backup doesn't get into account the timestamps, that happened to me. Now I'm going back to this folder and I don't know which one is the latest one. I have a 5 or 6 versions. So it's a bit complicated, and using Git solves that issue because you have the same file name and you can always revert back to previous versions because there is like a history that you can revert, check, compare. So it makes life easier for everyone. When you use Word, you can use track changes, Google Docs, or LibreOffice, but also, yeah, it's not could be a solution, but yeah, here we will see another solution that is like a widely extended and a lot of people use it. That is use a version control system. So the sample here is that you have this document and you want to add a new line. So good, you add this new line. Then you want to add these 3 lines. Good, you add these 3 lines. And when you do we will learn later what the term commit means. But when you do a commit, yeah, you will add these 4 lines, and you will be always be able to compare new lines, previous lines, etc. This is also possible that you have a document and 2 different users could make different changes. If it's, let's say, if you change the different lines, it's okay, you can merge them. But if are the same line, it would be a conflict. And again, Git gives you the tools to solve that conflict. Also, the version control systems is not something that is, let's say, recent. Okay, there is a modern systems like Git or Mercurial. I never use it Mercurial, but yeah, I'm more familiar with Git. Are more recent, but I remember when I was doing my PhD, I was using SVN, that was a version control system. Before that, well, so was Subversion was the name. Previous to that one was CVS, but yeah, I use my SVN. That is like the short term of. And yeah, key points here that allow people to work in parallel. That's good. And yeah, it's like an unlimited undo. You can, because you keep track of the versions of your file, and you can always refer back and see what is happening. Okay, what I will do is I will switch to my other window. It's taking some time. Okay, so this is my command line window. I will what I want to do. Well, I will move to desktop, and I will start playing with Git. First of all, we need to set up our name and /email address. That for that we will need to type git config -- global user.name, and in double quotation marks or name. That well, in my case I will use Juan Herrera. Okay, so next step is to configure the email address. The email address should be the one that you use for GitHub. So let's do that. Git config -- global user dot email, and the double quotation marks and my email address. You will find on the repository, on the documentation, that there are ways, in case that you don't want to share your email address, there are ways to use other. You can use username at users.noreply.github.com, but normally I use my email address, and it's not a big deal. I mentioned several times about GitHub, but also there is, for instance, at the University of Edinburgh, we use GitLab rather than GitHub. I have used in the past Bitbucket, is another Git server, let's say. But well, now that we have that, we can also configure the. This is something that I haven't. When we have the operating system, if we use Windows, Linux, or Mac, the end of the line change. Normally, the end of the line is like a character that like a hidden character. So you can set that on Git, depending if you are working on Windows, Linux, etc. If you are on Windows, it's recommended to do a git config -- global core auto crlf true. But if you are on Mac or Linux, rather than true, you need to use input. Because I'm in Windows and I have Windows files, I will use true. Also, you can set up because when we use Git on the command line, you can choose the editor. Because we have been using Nano, we will set up, because by default is VI. So if you do Vim, you can have this editor. But this editor, for instance, well, I'm familiar with the editor, but well, you can also be familiar, but could be a little bit tricky, because if you want to edit it, you need to press I and say hello, and then if you want to exit, yeah, you need to use column Q. That complains because you have made a change, so you can do column Q and exclamation symbol. So yeah, it could be a bit more complicated to use, but to be honest, after some time I got familiar with the Vim. Yeah, but in case that you want to use Nano, can do git config -- global core.editor, and in double quotation marks nano -w. I see, because I see all the time like a oops, okay, no, I wanted to do nano and see what the W is. Well, okay, no wrap long. Actually, yeah, this is done by default, so the -w is not needed, but well, it is in the documentation. But yeah, it seems that is something maybe that have changed with the time. Okay, so we have done some configuration. So also what we can do is we can do git config -- list and see the list of configurations that we have, because I have yeah, I have I think other configurations I haven't, this is not done. Well, I see that this is duplicated. I need to. And well, you see like my username, user email, and yeah, this. Yeah, actually this is also duplicated, but well, as usual, we also have we always talk about a help. So for git config, if we use git config -h, like it would be the short version, or --help. Well, you don't see that, but in my case, it opens a web browser, and with the I will share this screen. Taking some time to switch the. So yeah, you see that it opens this window with some documentation. Cool. Switch back to the command line. Any questions so far? All good? Okay, so yeah, we have seen so far how to configure Git with git config. And now what we will do is we will create our first repository. Actually, one exercise that we can do is we can maybe reuse one of the folders that we have used in this, like in these days with Python, etc. But well, we will create a new folder from scratch, and yeah, we'll play with that. Okay, so I'm here in well, like the sample that is on the documentation is about the recipes. Actually, I like that sample, so let's do that. So we will create a folder with, you may remember, mkd recipes. Oops. And okay, we need to also to move to that folder, see the recipes. If I do pwd, we see that, yeah, I'm in this folder. And to create a repository is quite simple. We do git init. And we get a message that initialize empty git repository on that. And you see that we get the directory where we are, and we are in the .git. So this is that means that this will be like a hidden directory. So when we do ls, looks empty, so we need to do ls minus a, and in that way shows these three directories. And now we can do git status, and we get it. Well, always. Normally we get this structure of a message. The first message is in which branch we are. We will learn later what that means. Now by default we are in the branch main. Maybe some of you get the branch master, but yeah, this have a change, rename, and now the default branch is main. No commits yet. Again, we will also learn what commit means. Nothing to commit. There is like no changes, so it's because the directory is empty, so we don't have anything to. It is also explained in the documentation that when you create a repository, is not. Don't create a Git repository inside a Git repository, because otherwise that will be complicated. Let's say that you are in this directory, and now for some reason you do mkdir dinar, let's say cd dinar, and you can do git init in case that you do this for some reason, by mistake. And the thing is, you are creating a repository inside that repository. So this is not this will not work well. In case that this happens, the way is rm-rf .git. Also be careful when you do that, because you will delete the Git repository. You can double check that you are in the folder, and in the folder where you want to delete the repository. So okay, let's do rm-rf.git. And okay, if you do ls-a, you see okay that the folder is. And here you can use rmdir dinar. Let's do ls-la. Yeah, you see that all good. Okay, so now we will start with our first recipe. To write our first recipe, we will use Markdown. That is some way to use plain text, but at the same time give some sort of format. We will let's see what I mean. So let's create the first. Okay, let's create the file. So it will be nano. The first recipe will be pea soup. .md, because it's a markdown. She said extensions mean, we can ignore extensions, but it's always useful for the operating system and for us to know what a file is. So we are here on the to use a header. We need to use the hash key. Hash, you may remember that we have used always for comments, but in the markdown means that this is a header. So if we do ingredients, and also in our recipe we will add instructions. So we create that, we save with Ctrl-O, Ctrl-X. And now if I do a cat issue, yeah, I get this. And also if I do git commit, I get again, well, I'm in a branch main. Actually, notice that yeah, the name of the branch is also here in the line. And I get untracked files. That this is the new file that I have. And also I get some help here. Nothing added to commit, but untracked files present. So use git add to track. Okay, so let's use that. Git add means that because okay, the file exists in the folder, but let's say that it's not in the repository. It's not part of the repository, the Git repository. So we need to do git add tissue.md. I get this warning, and this is because I use when I configure. They said that LF, that this is the way of ending the line in Unix or Linux, Mac, will be replaced by the Windows end of line. That is like a CRLF. The next time I Git it does. But what? Yeah, it's fine. It's not. In case that you don't want that, you can always modify, or if you want to keep the Unix format, you can edit and use input rather than true. Okay, so now if I do git status, I get another message. I get branch main or commit Z, and the changes to be committed are this. It will be a new file. Also, in case that I don't want to, let's say, the unstage, I can do git rm cache. So let's okay. So let's commit the. So for commit, we can do git commit -m and add here a message. Normally, when you write a message on GitHub, should be short, and also the message should explain a little bit or be, let's say, be somewhat meaningful. You can say here add a file, but it's a little bit, let's say, I don't know, empty or generic, or you don't say anything there. Here, what we can do is add a tissue recipe, for instance. Or you can also use, because can use the recipe template. So yeah, you can choose the message that you want, but and when you do that, we get that input. We get that we added one file, 3 insertions because the file has 3 lines, and also the mode of what we learned the first day. 644 means that the 6 is a read-write for the user, and 44 would be that is would be readable for the rest of users in your group and rest of users in general. And now if we do git status, we get the on branch main, nothing to commit, a working tree clean, because we have done the commit. If we want to see the history, we can use a git log. And you see the history that this is a head, normally it's like the latest version of the repository of the branch main. And you get a commit, the number that also could be useful in case that we want to refer to that commit, the author, date, and yeah, the message, the recipe template. And we will see later when we add like more changes, we will see that the git log show them in reverse chronological order. If we want to do more changes, we can change the recipe, or actually add the ingredients. So nano pea soup ingredients, we can say here we can add peas, onions, and potato. We can save, Control X, and if we do git status, you get another message. You get that the pea soup has been modified. Also, there is a useful command that if you do git diff, will show you the changes of the file that you have commit, and the file that you see here also with colors that these 3 new lines have been added to the file, and we have deleted this like an empty line. So these will be the changes. Now if you do a git commit, there is also another way. Well, for instance, if I do now git commit, it will complain or will tell you, look, you have not staged the changes for commit, because this is like the procedure is you do some changes, you add the changes to like a stage area, and then you do the commit, because you can have several files, and each file can have you can do a commit of one file, you can do another commit of another file, so you can do different commits with the different files. Another way that in case that you can also use a git commit -a, that by default add to the like a staging area all of the files that have been modified, not the new ones. So you can also do git commit -a, and in case that you don't put here a message, some people what they do, some people put an empty message, but it's not the recommended way. If you do that, Nano will open, And here you can also write you can say other basic ingredients, for instance, for issue, and save. Also, while here you get some help, these are comments. Please enter the commit message for your changes. The line starting with the hash will be ignored, and an empty message aborts the commit. So yeah, you see what changes that you. Now, if I save the file, Control O, Control X, well, we get again the warning, and we get the message that we have set up the other basic ingredients for pea soup. And now if we do git status, yeah, nothing to commit, and git log, it will show you the different commits that we have done, too. I was talking before about the staging area. I will show you the what that means, like a picture with the. What I mean here of the staging area is that I have my file, so I have here my repository that is .git is my the folder that is created, and when I use a git add, the file is in the staging area. And when I use git commit, the file goes to the repository. So this is important to remember this concept. Because every time that we can have several modifications, but I can choose what I want to add to the staging area in order to be added to the repository. I will switch back to my. Any questions so far? Well, if you have any questions, feel free to use the chat. Now I say changing. One change that I can do just to if we open the recipe, and rather than onions, we'll use spring onions. We save, and we do git add pea soup. We do git status. We see that this is like now it's in the stage area. The thing is now if we do git diff, we don't get anything, and we have a change our file. Problem is that we don't get anything because pea soup is already on the staging area. If we want to see the changes, we would need to write git diff -stage. And you see here that the changes is that we deleted onions and we added the spring onions. I think there is a way, let me check if that works. Git diff -h. No. Yeah, this is not a. I thought that was. I thought -w was here, but this is not an option. Okay, forget it. Also, I would like to show you another way of using for the message git commit. I've said that we can use like a change. We can use a change ingredient, let's say, for message. But if I later I will show you, we can create a longer message. We can have like a short message that is a change ingredient. But if yeah, you leave a empty line, and the third line you can be more. Uh, let's say we have changed. You know, and use green onion instead, specifically instead. So you can make a longer message as long as you want here. But let's say this message should be like a short and descriptive enough. So Control O, Control X. Now if I do git log, you see that yeah, I have all of these. I have 3 commits. Let me check the was git diff -h. No, sorry, I was looking for an option. No, not. With the git log, okay, here we have only, let's see, all 3, like a 3 commits, but there are in cases that we have like a long list of commits. So if you do git log -1, you get only the last commit, or -2, the last 2. Also, you can get a reduced version with the git log -1 line. And here, for instance, you get the hash keys, like rather than this, you get a shorter version. And also you get only the main, let's say the short main message. You don't get the long one, or the full one, let's say. That is also in case that you have branches, or is useful to, well, you may find useful to use git log -1 line -graph. Can show you later if we have like a more complex repository. Here would, in this line will appear like a graph of you will see like the branches when are merged, etc. But well, in this that we have only one branch, and this is like a yeah, let's say young repository will look like that. Okay, things that we have learned about well, git status, git add to add files to the staging area, git commit to use the stage area to add it to the repository. And I think that's it. Late. Actually, we can do this. Yeah, let's do this. Let's do this exercise. gives you 10 minutes to play with that. I will share my screen. So let's create a bio repository. So yeah, we create a folder called bio. I create a file called me.txt, and yeah, I feel free to play these 2 points, but yeah, just like to create a repository from scratch and create a new file. Or if you want, another option is for recipes, you can create a new file. I will give you 10 minutes to play with that, and we will continue at 10:30. Okay, so let's actually this exercise will be good to like have um, yeah, refresh what we have learned so far. So we will need to move on to the parent directory and create our directory mkdir called bio. cd bio. Remember that we need to do git init to create the repository. Now I create a file called me.txt, and I could say no, instead I use the 3 lines. My name is Juan. I live in Edinburgh. I was born in Spain. Save that. Control O, Control X, and remember to add a file is because if we do git status is not in the is not tracked. So git add me.txt and git commit what I will do -n and add first version of bio, for instance. If you do git log, you will find. In the exercises you can do, yeah, you can play with the live versions, etc. But okay, now the fun starts is that user remotes on GitHub. So for that, I will, we can do that. Okay, yeah, I will use, yeah. I will share my other screen. Make this like this. Okay, yeah. Mm, so you will need to go. I assume that all of you have an account of GitHub. If not, please let me know, and I'll give you some time to create the account. So if you go to GitHub, we will now need to create the repository remotely, because now the repository that we have created is local, is in our laptop, but in order to share the repository with more people or to have like a backup somewhere else, is useful to use. In this case, we will use GitHub, but there are other, as I mentioned before, there are other tools like GitLab or Bitbucket. So to create a repository, we need to use this plus new repository. I'm not sure if this is big enough. It should be. So repository template, well, not template, owner, because here you can choose your username. If you belong to other groups, you can choose where you want to put the repository. The name will be recipes, and they said that recipes is available. So in my account, there are no more repositories called recipes. And description, you can leave it blank, but you can also, say collection of recipes for my future restaurant, or whatever you want to. Also gives you the option if you want to make it public or private. So in this case, we will choose public. You also can choose if you want to add a README file. I will not do that. Git ignore, also I will not do that. And also you can choose the license. License here is, this is also useful. Here you have more documentation about the license. This is in case it depends. If you have it depends on the contents of your repository. If the contents are more, say, text or information, you will need to, well, one option will be to use the Creative Commons. I think it's here. But well, here there is only one version. There are many that you can check on the Creative Commons website. If you use software, there are other licenses that one quite famous is GPL, but you should be careful with that. Well, careful. That one is if other people use your software, the software should be GPL as well. So yeah, there are like a list of licenses. By now we will leave it blank, but is in the future is good to consider them. If you see the documentation here on of the lessons that we're using, the license is CC BY 4.0. CC BY means that I think if you click here, oh no, doesn't go anywhere, but no, it's that CC BY is that if you use the documentation, you can use the documentation, but you need always to mention that you have used, make a reference to the documentation and saying, look, using this documentation from, or the original file, it comes from here. Okay, so yeah, just to summarize, yeah, description optional, I will create recipes here. Good thing of also one thing that I like of GitHub is that it gives you a lot of choices, choices, information. You can set up that in case that you install, you use a Git GitHub desktop, the app. You can use HTTPS or SSH. If you just clone the repository, just is okay to use HTTPS. The problem is at the moment that you want to do some changes, I think it's not would be trickier, and SSH is recommended. But the thing is, with SSH, you need to set up keys. But also we will see that later. So okay, we have created our repository, and if you see, this is well, what we have done. That git init, added readme, first commit. But because we have already a repository, we will do this. Git remote, add origin. So we will copy and move to the other window. I will change to my folder that is the recipes, CD recipes. Oops. So here I paste git remote add origin git at github.com column my username and recipes.git. So if I add that, you can always check with the git remote -v that that we have our the link of and now what we can do is we can do a git push. Git push copy the local directory to the remote directory. So git push in the documentation appears origin main, but I think you can avoid that. Let me check if that works without. Yeah, no, doesn't work because you get this message that the current branch main has not an upstream branch, so you need to link your local branch that is main with the upstream one. Let's see the remote one. That this is we call it here origin. Here. So we will need to set git push origin main. And this is the thing complaints because we don't have we don't have the SSH key created, so we will need to create one. Okay, let me, if I do ls.ssh, I will need to check in my account let me switch the here I will need to move to the, I think is settings, and I have two. I have my laptop, that is this one, but now I don't remember. Okay, this is now. Okay, I think I know what it is. And I have, well, this is like another machine that I use, the ADF. So I will need to create a new one. So I need to the title and key. And to create a new one, I will go to my, again, to my, actually, just to make, yeah, this should be okay. Now to create a new one, you will need to do the following. You will need to use, see if I remember how to create the SSH dash keygen -t ed25. I will copy that in the chat. So you will need to do something like that. -c, my mail address. This is yet to use. So here I choose the algorithm to for the SSH key. This is the comment. You can put your email address. It asks you to choose the file that you want to use. Because I already have a SSH key with the same name, I will use another name. So I will use C .sh ID. I will use SWC. The passphrase, that this is useful to have a passphrase. But yeah, you will need to remember. And here you have the key fingerprint of. And now if I will list .ssh, remember to add that, because normally this is like in your home directory. You will see that you have two files. Sorry. You have two files. You have the private key and the public key. The way it works is the private key will be always in your laptop. Always. Never, ever you will need to send the private key anywhere else. Always local, always in your laptop. No. The public key is the one that you can share. and it's not a problem to share. So what we will do is we will copy the public key. We do cat dot ssh and id underscore swc dot public pub, and this is what we need to copy in on the GitHub. So if we go to GitHub, switch my window again. Title, you can, I don't know, I would say Carpentry, or actually just to remember, use git bash. And the key will be this one, authentication key. I knew that I would need the phone, so 1 second that I check my phone. Okay, so I have now this SSH key here, added on March 21st, never used, etc. Oops, but okay, now the trick here is to because I'm using a SSH key that has a different name, I need to figure out how to tell Git to use that SSH key. I don't know if this is like in the documentation here. I created the key. Yeah, see the key here. Well, that in the documentation is also this option, but yeah, I never use it. I'm not sure if. Okay, so now if I want to do, well, actually okay, I think I need to, I will switch back. I think now I remember how to do it. I think there is a way, it's a nano dot ssh config. Oh no, but it's not here. I think it's editing this file. I think. Okay, I think I can check. Sorry, give me one. Yeah. I think I have configured that in another machine. Okay, right. I found it. So if we edit this, I will need to add here this file these 3 lines in case that you don't use the default name. Host the GitHub, hostname github.com, and identity file this. Let's see if that works. Now if I do git push origin main, I still get the same error. Could not read from remote repository. Let me check if I think I created like a public repository, but yeah, it's a public. Okay, this is, yeah, joys of that. I can try and use the HTTPS, but I'm not sure if that will work. This is using the HTTPS rather than the. I think it's a git remote delete origin. Okay, it's not delete, it's a remove. Push origin. Oh, okay, it works with the HTTPS. Okay, fine. And now if we go to our repository here, we switch back the. So this is my repository recipes. If I refresh I have my the GitHub view of my repository. I see the 3 commits. You see that here because I have like a longer description. This is why you can add I added like a longer message. And yeah, you see that was 51 minutes ago, 46, 41. So this is the history. Also, if you click here in PSoup, this is what I mean with the like a markdown. See that when we use, you can see the preview, you can see the code. That this is like a one. And also, if we want to use a list, we use like the just dash, and we will create a list. There is also this blame, that this is each line tells you the user that have the contributor that have changed it, and also tells you the in which commit has a change, etc. And also here you can change you can edit if you want the file and commit the changes if you do some answer changes. Any questions regarding that? Normally it's easier once that you have set up your SSH key and yeah, it works. I will figure out now in the break what is the error that I get with SSH. But yeah, since that also with the HTTPS it works. Any questions before we go to have a break? feel free to try that. In case that you have any issues, please let me know. So let me show you the here, like a training. She said we will have a half an hour break, and after the break we will have a few minutes to fill in the ARCHER2 course feedback. By default, the link goes to the link of the course. Everything is, let's say, everything is optional except the overall satisfaction. This is the only question that is mandatory to use. And we ask for feedback because these courses are, as you may know, are free. But we need to report to you can write the levels of satisfaction or like feedback numbers. And if we don't have enough numbers, it will be a problem. So please, this will take just a few minutes. And also you can do it after the break or later, the post workshop survey. That this is for the carpentries. This takes 4 minutes for the carpentries to measure the impact of this because the contents are the workshop content are done by the carpentries. Well, actually, this lesson is a version of the official carpentries one that is done by the University of Newcastle. But well, okay, so this is now we are in a break time, so I will stop talking. Yeah, have a nice break and see you at well, at 11:30. I will say that is we will have time for the feedback, but yeah, we will start the lesson again at 11:45. Okay, let's continue with the lesson. I would like to show you this diagram. This is to show you how when we talk about local or remote repository, when it's a local repository, it's in our laptop. So it would be this square that is here. Let me see if see if that works. So it would be like this or local repository. That here we can do, normally we do git add to add it to the staging area, git commit. Also we have the remote repository. The remote repository we have in GitHub is here, and with the git push we send we do a copy from this local repository to the remote repository. I will now share my screen. This one. Also during the break, I found the solution to I use this the GitHub documentation, and what I needed to do in if we use Git Bash, if we use Ubuntu or the WSL we can use we can edit the SSH config and add the public key. But here what we can do is use an agent. So I call the agent in that way, and then I add my SSH key. So now when if I do git pull, I get this. Also, there is a nice way that if just to check if things work well, you do SSH minus capital T git at github.com. If the SSH is well configured, you get this message. Hi, my username, you successfully authenticated, etc. And to debug, you use -T, you add a V, and you get all of this output. And here is where we get, let's say, the authentication where that offering public key, this one, the servers accept that key, and I'm authenticated to GitHub using public key. But if also using HTTPS, since that is also, it also works. Okay, so what else we can we can use when we were using a git push. Remember that was a git push origin and main. If we do if we add a -u here, sorry, you will get the by default that operation. Let's see if that works. So branch main set up to track origin main. So now if we do a git push, we don't need to specify origin and main. Well, we get a message that is everything up to date. Okay, next is ignoring things. This is in case that if we do ls, I have a psub, but for instance, I could have a file called notes.txt. These are some private notes. So here, every time that I do a git status, it will notify me that notes.txt is not added to the repository. We can keep it like that, but it's all the time will complain that, well, not complain, but you will get the message that this is not. So if you want to ignore that file, you will need to use nano and set up the file git ignore. And here you add notes.txt. If you save that file, and now you do git status, you see that the notes.txt is not there, and but well, you will need to add a git ignore to the repository. There's a git add git ignore. And git commit -m. We can add And now if we do git status, you see that nodes is ignored. If, for instance, we have like several files that are .dat and we want to ignore them, like we can create empty files. Oops. So as you see, I have several files that are .dat. As you may remember from yesterday, that we were generating these files, and we don't want to upload them to the repository. So we can edit git ignore and use star.dat. So all files that the extension is this one will be ignored. So you see that the git ignore has been modified, but nodes and all of the files that are .dat are ignored. Now we can do git commit -a -message. Another thing that I haven't explained, if we have a folder called mkdir, how I can call it, restaurants, for instance, in case that we have a different. If I do git status, the folder is ignored. Why? Because the folder is empty. One way is we can use touch git keep. So if we use that, it's just created a file of. So if I do ls-la restaurants, you will see that there is an empty file here. Now if I do git status, you will see that the folder now appears in the when we do git status. So I can add git add restaurants and git commit -m and for the restaurants. Okay, there is a important concept here that is these are the branches, a branch. We have talked that with when we do git status, we get the branch main. Normally the branch main is, let's say, protected. You don't do commits there because it's, let's say, the production branch is the golden copy, the branch that you will not, let's say, modify unless that you are sure what you're doing. Normally, the way of working with Git is that you create a branch, you work on the branch, and once that you are happy with the changes, you merge the branch into main. This also allows to several users to have different branches and do different changes and make things easier. On the GitHub, we have the concept of issues. So normally for each issue, you will create a branch, you solve the issue, and then you merge the branch with the main repository branch. So let's learn how to use them. If we do git branch, we will see that we have the branch name, we have only one there. But for my recipe repository, I will add like a starter. So I will say git branch starter, for instance. And now if I do git branch, you see that there are now two branches, main and starter. So now I can do git checkout starter, and you switch to the branch starter. So now if you do git branch, you will see that now this is like a highlight in a different color, and also in case that your terminal doesn't have a colors, you have this star here. And now I can create a nano what a starter I can use. So we can use hummus.md, and here I can add the ingredients, instructions. Ingredients I can save it, chicken, peas, and save. And I can do a git commit, git add hummus, and git commit, and message so now if I do a git status, well, you see that you are on branch starter here. Now if you do git checkout main, and you do ls, you see that you don't have the hummus, the starter that we have created. So if we do git checkout starter, and now I do ls, you see that here I have this file, but here I don't have that file. So and now if in case that we want to merge this branch, if in case we are happy with the recipe, and we normally this works when you have several people working on the same repository. So you will have let's say the maintainer or the responsible of the main branch, and you can have several workers or several colleagues that helps you with the repository. Once that the maintainer checks that the branch is okay, etc., you can do a merge. So you do a git checkout main. Let's see if I remember. Is a git merge starter. And now if I do ls, I will see that now I have because I merge the branch with the main one. And once that you do that, you can delete, if you want, you can delete the branch. You can do git branch -d starter. And now if you do a git branch, you will see that you only have a main. And now if you do git log one line graph, but yeah, graph doesn't show you the anything else. Okay, we can. But what you see the changes that we have done on the. Any questions on this part? Okay, next part is conflicts. Well, it has been a while since we don't do a git push. Git push normally is when you are happy, I mean, when you want to push the changes to the to the remote repository. So let's do git push. No problems with that, good or good. And what I will do is I will move to my the web browser. And now if I refresh, I get that the git ignore, the folder restaurants, psup. And psup, for instance, what I can do is let's edit this file. Let's edit. We can edit the this line. We can say okay, the psup. We can say 2 potatoes and commit the changes. By this is like the commit message that update psup recipe. Here you can say update potato quantity. And that's the thing, you can commit directly to a new branch, or you can create a new branch and then start a pull request. That at the end we will see what a pull request means. Commit the changes in the remote repository, but these changes are not in the local repository. If you want the changes to be reflected in the local repository, you will need to do git pull, but we will not do that now because we want to. Well, actually, let's do. If I do cat psup, you see that the changes are not in the local repository. If I do git pull, you see that yeah, one file has changed, and now if I do cat psup, you see that these have a change. Oops, sorry, yeah, that the danger of having several. Sorry, I was showing that if I print here, we have like a potato. If I do git pull, I get psup, and then if I now print again psup, we see that I have this line updated. What if I locally I want to modify the number of grams of peas? So nano pea soup, and here I want to use 300 grams. Save. And in the remote repository, well, I'm not sharing the screen, but I will. I should have. I should share maybe the screen instead. Actually, yeah, I will. I will do that. Otherwise, it would be a little bit. Give me a second. No, what I will do is I will. Yeah, you see now that my beautiful background picture for today. Windows every day change the background. Yeah. Have a good day. Right, so I have this, and I will modify, and rather than 300, I will say here, for instance, I say 500 grams of a piece. So notice that I'm editing the same line. Commit changes. Yeah, over. And here, when I will minimize this. You can still see my screen, okay? Maybe so I make this. Now here, if I well, I can do a git commit minus a minus m and if I do now a git push, we get an error here. And normally they say that updates were rejected because the remote contains work that you do not have locally. This is usually caused by another repository pushing to the same ref. So as Kevin said, normally it's recommended to do git pull before they do the push. So yeah, let's do git pull. And normally when we have edited several different files of we have maybe different lines on the same file, the automatic merge works. And we get but in this case, because we have edited the same line, there is a merge conflict. But this is not a problem. We can solve it on that. So now if we open nano issue, you will see that the conflict is this one here. And we see two versions of the same line. We see the version that is on my local repository, that is 300, and the version that is in the remote repository, that is 500. So I can edit that. I will get rid of this line and say, okay, let's keep let's keep 300, for instance. So I delete that, and I keep this version. So I do now Control O, Control X, and now I need to do a git commit well, it's the git status. And now I need to, commit git commit minus a, well, actually I will do git add issue. And now I get the message that all conflicts fixed, but you are still merging. So I need to do git commit to finish the merge. Git commit minus m solve conflict, let's say. And now if I do git push, it works. And I can see that now if I what is the repo? It's here, yeah. If I refresh, I got a this 300. If I go to the history, well, I get all of the changes that I have done actually in this file. Any questions regarding this? Let me see if I have a different, here. If not, let's continue with the HubSpot conflicts. How to explore history. This is also useful in case that we can see that in the even in the like in the web interface, but history here you can see the click on history. And if you click here, but you see what have a change. But yeah, didn't. Well, or time or users, you can do filtering. But if you do it locally, you can do you can compare the different versions of a file. You can do git diff. Well, if we do git diff, there are no differences, but we can do a git diff head and issue. There are no difference because head is like the latest version of the repository. So you will need a head and this tilde or one. There are no differences. Okay, I think something is not. Maybe because I need to do head -2. Okay. The difference between two commits before, and we see that this has been removed. This 300 grams of this has been added. We can compare with the previous version, and so on. Also, we can compare. I don't know if that will work. Okay, you can compare between different versions as well. But in case that you don't remember, or because you see here, like a head 3, head 2 is a little bit tricky, you can always use a git git log, one line, and you can compare with that. You can use this as a key. So if you want to compare head with this version, that is because you see here update issue recipe. But okay, what was the update? So you can copy here, then copy and say git diff paste and then psoup.md. And this update psoup recipe means that you have edit this. Also, you can use if you use git log, because I have a lot of I have like several commits. I get this paging that I need to press enter to see the whole, and well, with the Q I can exit. So I can use also the long hash key here. Copy git diff this issue, and I get the differences of that is a nice image here. That is this one, that if you well, also this is for in case that you want to go back to a previous version, you can do a git checkout and select you can use either head is the latest version, or you can use a head, well, it's not -1, but well, kind of, that you see that every commit has a hash key here, but also you can reference them like the head -1, -2, etc. And this is regarding the history. Let's do if, for instance, if I don't want to like have maybe grams here, so I can do I can copy these. Well, actually reuse can do git checkout. So now if I cut issue, I see that I don't have the grams here. If I do git commit, sorry, git status, yeah, psoup has been modified, and yeah, git commit -m. And I can revert back a change in the repository. Okay, let me yeah, in the documentation now there are some comments about the, okay, so just to finish, what we can do is I can explain what a pull request is. Well, I was talking before about the issues. Issues could be, I can create a new issue, let's say, The title could be like an issue could be like we have a starter, but we need to add like we can call it a desert of like a missing or like a deserts are not available. Add a new desert. So if I go to issues, you see that I have an issue here. Desert not available. And this is what I explained in development. Normally, you create for this you create a new branch. Okay, this will be the name. Check out locally. Yeah, fine. And if I want to check the branch, I will need to do locally. I will need to do this in my local. But I will play with this remotely, because remotely here I can choose the branch as well, and I can add a new file if I create a new file. The name could be what I can do, tiramisu. Not sure if this is the right spelling, but not MD. Ingredients, step or instructors. Yeah, commit to this branch. And here now, if I'm in normally also what you do is you can also either create a branch or well, yeah, you can do it in the same repository. Another way that this is not in the documentation, you can also create a fork of the repository. Also, we get here a message, the search not available have recent pushes, and you can do a compare and pull request. So that is able to merge. So the base is main, the main branch, and compare with the search. And here you have add tiramisu. You can add a description here. And in the description, you can say also too, because with the pull request, you can close the issue. So I think you can add a closes one. So with the hash key one, you reference the issue that is open here. So now you create the pull request. Normally, this is done by several users. I'm kind of using the same user here. But yeah, I am in my repository here. If I go to pull request, I see that I have a pull request. Later we will check if with other repositories you have a pull request of other users. And imagine that, yeah, I got a pull request by a colleague of mine, or I open it, and I see here other tiramisu. I will make this a bit, yeah. Closes this issue here. I can also see the commits. I can see the changes here. So if I'm happy with this, also I can review the changes. To review the changes, you can use comment, approve, or request changes. Because I mean, like the same author, they don't allow me, but yeah, I could make a comment of them. So if I'm happy, I click on merge pull request. And when I do the merge of this pull request, I can also delete the branch, but yeah, let's delete the branch. And now if I go to my main repository, you see that in the history, I have here merge pull request from this branch here. Pull requests normally are when you are modifying other repositories, you create a pull request and you submit that pull request, and the owner of the repository will be able to evaluate that. If we go to, let me see, for instance, here. Well, you see here, this is another repository. You see that there are several issues here. No pull request. Well, actually 4 have been closed. And also the way of working is you see, okay, you have this repository here, and you see that something is not, let's say, okay. So you can fork that repository to your own account. You do the fork, and now it's copying the whole repository to your account. And the thing is, if something is, don't know what we, because check that, yeah, you are in your own account, and also here you get the message fork from, imagine that you can edit this, and don't know, you want to capitalize this version control, commit changes, and you can contribute. Well, sync fork means if having changes in the other repository, I can sync them, but I can contribute and I can open a pull request. The thing here is that the base repository is the repository that I'm not the owner, is let's say the other, the original one, let's say, and this is my repository. Also, I got a message that this is my first time opening a pull request for this project. Be sure to review the contributing guidelines. Because normally in these contributing guidelines tells you like some, yeah, the guidelines, not like how to do that, and the code of conduct as well. So if I'm happy with that, I click here in create pull request, and then once that I do that, the pull request will be listed here. So normally this is the way of working on, or like let's say improving other. Let me check if there are other pull requests open. If I move to the yeah, training. I will check all that repositories, materials. If we go to share at the bottom, here you see that there are 2 pull requests of for case sensitivity, and you see that it have actions, some discussion. So normally that's the way of if you see that even in on the material that we have used today, like this week, if you see something that can be changed or can be improved, you can always make a fork, do the changes, and then do the pull request. And the pull request could be approved by the owners that normally are the authors that are, yeah, all of these people. Yeah. Some people also, I see that there are a lot of sims that when you do a pull request, well, when you do a contribution, you could get added here to the list of authors. These are default files that you can have authors, citation, in case that you can explain how to cite, in case that you use the repository, you can cite it in that way. Code of conduct, contributing guidelines, the license. You can check the license here is the CC BY 4.0 that you are free to share and adapt, but you need to attribute and don't put additional restrictions. Okay, I'll talk about the license. And there is also another chapter that is called Open Science. Yeah, when we upload, we can create the repositories, so we can create public repositories or private repositories. So when we have public ones, or the code, the scripts that we have in the repository are public. It's always good when you, now it's recommended when you submit a paper and you have used some code, some scripts to share where is your repository, because in that case users can check the scripts that you have used and check the procedures that you have followed, and also spot if you write some code or maybe you may have some mistakes. It's always good for collaboration. My recommendation is to use GitHub GitHub or any other GitLab or any other remote Git repository and make your code public. Stop sharing because now we are also you can use now it's quite popular to use Zenodo in case that you have some data sets or you have some papers or you have some sort of document that you want to share. You get a DOI. This is a DOI is a digital object identifier that is like a unique number that you get, and with that URL you can share that either the number of the URL, and that would work. Yeah. Okay, so this is the end of today's lesson and end of the course. Before closing, you have any questions about today or the rest of this week? In case that not, well, you already have my email address. Thank you so much for attending. And also, you will have the recordings, you will have the material in the future. If you have any questions, please feel free to send me a message. We'll be happy to help. This week has been like a lot of content to, let's say, to process or digest. So I imagine that, yeah, in the future, if you use one of these tools, yeah, you may find some, yeah, you may have some questions. Thanks again. Have a nice weekend, everyone, and yeah, see you hopefully in future courses. Bye for now.